Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with Joanne.
And Tom, good to see you all again.
Thanks for joining us today. So last time we talked about 8 tips.
8 tips.
8 special tips. What were they? They were about...
how to get your offer accepted when there's multiple offers.
Thank you.
I don't know what she'd do without me sometimes.
I
But
know.
anyway, so 8 tips on how to get an offer accepted
Yes.
in a hot seller's market when there's multiple offers.
So today we're going to talk about one special one. But before we do that, we're going to run through just a little reminder of what it was. The first one is to have a good buyer's consultation with your real estate agent. The second one is getting a loan commitment versus pre-qualification.
Big
so
difference.
Always talk to your lender there. The third one is respecting the seller's home when you visit. Fourth one is communication, not only with agents, but your clients as well. Using an escalation clause. We talked in detail about that on a previous podcast, so make sure to check that out on our YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about use an appraisal gap if you're going, we're going to talk in detail about that today for you.
Yep.
And then pre-inspection. That's going to come up in a later
How to use a pre-inspection.
podcast too. And then the final thing is backup offers.
Okay.
So again, we're going to focus today on really honing in on what is an appraisal gap? What does that even mean? So
Right.
Tom, what do you think?
So what is an appraisal gap? An appraisal gap is something that's kind of new to the industry as the market is appreciating so fast. Okay. So what an appraisal gap means is you cover the difference between what an appraised value versus what you offer to pay a seller for their home. So for instance, you offer a home for $250 and the appraisal comes in at $230. Now you say, how would that happen? It's because this market is appreciating so fast, sometimes the appraised value can't even keep up with the market value, what a buyer is willing to pay for that property.
Right.
So here you have a home that somebody wants $230, you paid $250 and the appraisal came at $230. You offer an appraisal gap saying, I'll make up the difference between what I offered you and what the appraiser says the value is up to a certain amount. It's confusing.
It is confusing.
So you might say, I'm going to offer appraisal gap for $20,000. So I offered you $250. The appraisal came in at $230. I'll make up the $20,000 difference.
So now, Tom, I as a buyer, if I want to do it, I have to have that $20,000.
You have to have that. And what's really important to understand, you have to have the money to do it. So if you're a VA or FHA buyer with minimum money down, which a lot of people, that's how they buy their first home, you're not going to be in a position to cover any of those differences. And why it's really important for you to understand that. We hear stories all the time of people saying, I've made 8 offers on a home, I can't get my offer accepted. You heard that before?
Yeah.
We hear it all the time. It's probably because they didn't, first of all, do the first step we recommend in the 8 tips is to have a buyer consultation. Sit with your realtor. That's where we explain what you're up against. Because the reality is you're not going to win those offers if you can't cover the appraisal gap. And it's hard, it's disheartening, but you need to understand that. Don't take it personal. It isn't because they didn't like you. Somebody else had an escalation clause, had an appraisal gap.
Yeah.
So you make up the difference. So you really can only do it if you have the extra money.
Right. And like Tom said, having a good consultation, because there is a lot. This isn't the only way how to get an offer accepted. There's other ways as well. So, Tom, if I'm doing an appraisal gap and I say, well, do I have to? Because like you said, if it comes in $20,000 difference, I'm not paying $20,000, but maybe I could pay $5,000. Can I do that?
Sure, you can offer whatever you want. You can. It's an appraisal gap is a separate addendum that you would attach to your purchase agreement and say we will cover any shortage from what we offer you and what the appraisal comes in. We'll cover up to a certain amount. That doesn't mean you have to cover the whole amount. And a lot of lenders these days will even waive the appraisal. So check with your lender. If you're somebody you're putting down, usually if it's 20 to 30% down payment, there's a good chance your lender will actually waive the appraisal so you can remove that as a condition of your offer.
Oh.
And the reason they do that when the market's appreciating 10, 15%, which it was in some areas, the lender feels confident that they're not concerned about what you paid for that home.
And you're putting more money down.
And you're putting money down. They have equity built in already. If
it's
you never
kind of
make
skin
another
in the game.
Yeah, if you never make another payment, they're going to take the home from you.
Yeah.
And they know that they're covered because it's a hot appreciating market.
And how about cash buyers if I'm paying cash for the home?
So a cash buyer, you're not required to do an appraisal because the lender is the one who requires an appraisal. A cash buyer can do one if they want to protect their investment to make sure they have somebody else double checking on their investment, but they can waive the appraisal. So that's what we're up against a lot. So when you're out there in those multiple offer situations, don't take it personal when you don't win, because there's people using escalation clauses. They're using appraisal gaps. They're doing pre-inspection, which we're going to talk about on our next podcast, how to use a pre-inspection to have an advantage over the other offers. There's a lot of ways to overcome some of the objections, and that's what we're trying to cover today. We just want to make sure everybody understands how that works. If you have any questions on that, we do offer free buyer consultations. You can send questions to askweikert@gmail.com. You can reach out. All of us here at Weikert Realtors Ileana, we take a lot of pride in being skilled on these things. So we like to cover them with you. There's nothing worse than going into a situation where you've never met with the realtor, had a good consultation. You start making offers and you don't understand why you're not winning.
Right.
We want you to just understand how this all works in the industry.
And I love when I work with my clients, that feeling of you can tell they're uplifted because we've had that consultation. When I mention the word appraisal gap or escalation clause, they say, yeah.
Absolutely.
In fact, they'll approach me about it. Joanne, can we use an escalation clause here? Let's talk,
And if you guys don't think this is real, Joanne, you made an offer the other day. How many showings were on this house that you went to show?
They had 30 upcoming showings.
30 upcoming showings in the first couple of days on the market. Joanne's buyer offered how much? Over
$10,000.
$10,000 over the asking price. Did your buyer win?
Unfortunately,
did not win. This is the real world, you guys. So if you're wondering what's going on out there, the market's high. It's all supply and demand. Basic economics, supply and demand. That's what it is. There's more demand than we have supply. I mean, we can go into that someday, but we went through a terrible recession for 6 to 8 years. Nobody even built a home. We're still catching up from that shortage of new construction. I mean, there's more demand than there is supply. When that happens, people pay more than they did it, the year before. So it's reality, but we'd love to explain it out to you. We do offer free consultations. If you have questions, please reach out. And we love an opportunity to service you.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Thank you for watching. And what's our next?
We're going to talk about a pre-inspection next time, how you can use a pre-inspection. One of the tips, that's tip number 7 on how to get your offer accepted in the hot sellers market. We look forward to seeing you all then.
Stay tuned.
Take care.